Hare Krishna. As we are sitting on the banks of Mother Ganga in Rishikesh, I wanted to share a thought. On the banks of Mother Ganga is the place where Sri Nimai Pandit, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, used to perform his childhood pastimes. And also he was a very scholarly person when he was a child. He was very scholarly and he would defeat all the great scholars in Navadvip. So he had many students and he would sit on the banks of the Ganges and teach his students. And the way that he would sit and teach his students was so beautiful, so attractive, that Vrindavan Das Thakur mentions in the Chaitanya Bhagavat that scene looked like he couldn't find any comparison to describe that scene. One comparison he thought of was just like the moon surrounded by stars, like Nimai Pandit surrounded with his students, like the moon surrounded by stars. But he thought this is not a good comparison because the moon has so many spots on the moon, so it's not perfect beauty. So then he thought of another comparison, which is Brihaspati, who is teaching the Devatas. Brihaspati is the guru of the Devatas. Then he thought that this comparison is also faulty because Brihaspati is only partial to the Devatas. He does not teach the demons. So therefore this comparison is also faulty, cannot be compared to Nimai Pandit. Then he thought of another comparison. He thought of Nimai Pandit as Cupid, and Nimai Pandit looked as beautiful as Cupid. But then this comparison is also faulty because when Cupid enters the heart of a person, the person becomes so anxious, so much anxiety, so much fear. So it is not a good comparison. So in this way, Vrindavan Das Thakur couldn't find any good comparison to describe the beauty of Nimai Pandit with his students on the bank of Ganges. But then he mentions in the Chaitanya Bhagavat that I can find only one comparison, and that is when Krishna would sit on the banks of Yamuna surrounded by his friends. That beauty, that beautiful scene is exactly the same as how when Nimai Pandit would sit on the banks of the Ganges surrounded by his students. So this is the glory of the banks of Ganges. I wanted to share this thought. Hare Krishna.